You're older than you've ever been, and now you're even older, and now you're even older, and now you're even older. You're older than you've ever been, and now you're even older, and now you're older still.
Welcome back to ML Miller Frights. I'm ML Miller. Before we begin, please do me a favor and punch that like button down below. Share this video with all of your social media addicted pals. Click subscribe to this channel and ring that bell for notifications. Old is new in theaters right now. It's directed and written by M. Night Shyamalan from the graphic novel by Pierre-Oscar Lévy and Frederick Peeters. A group of vacationers find themselves trapped on a secluded beach where time moves much faster than normal, and all of them find that they are rapidly growing years older by the hour. Thus begins the latest Twistapalooza by M. Night Shyamalan, whose star faded to a mere sputter a few years ago, but has since gained a glimmer of hope after Split, its disappointing sequel Glass, and the excellent Apple TV series Servant. I fear Old is another sputter for Night, who enjoys putting his cast through sheer hell, but all the while forgets how to wrap it up in a satisfying and, more importantly, sensible manner. The thing is, Shyamalan relied way too much on the twisteroo ending that now everyone is looking for it. While I guess you could call the ending a twist, it feels more like him pulling back the curtain and showing what is really going on. Gone are the days when the director knows how to pepper in clues and plot points like a master chef. In Old, instead of solid, suspenseful, and surprising scripts, we get scores of chunkily written lines that always seem to have something to do with wasting time and not appreciating the moment. Our main family, led by Guy, Amores Perros, Gael Garcia Bernal, and Prisca, the Phantom Thread's Vicky Creeps, doesn't have a line that doesn't involve the subject of growing old in the 15 minutes we get to know them in the start. Prisca and Guy fight and scream at each other. "All you care about is the future," to which Guy responds, "All you care about is the past. You work in a museum." Yeah, it's that bad. Even before a wrinkle appears in our cast, we're beaten over the head with really rough dialogue that refuses to give any character and only support the very thin plot. These really aren't characters. They're a batch of one or two specific qualities needed to press the plot along, representing ages, genders, maladies, and occupations. As a kid, before they go to the beach, Trent goes around and asks vacationers what their name and occupation is before swiftly moving on to the next couple relaxing on the beach. It's done with the impulsiveness of a child, but also captures how much depth we get to know about any of these characters. So you get the folks who are represented by their occupations and the loved ones they care about who are suffering from different maladies. Shyamalan may be trying to comment on the class system and how people react differently to medical issues, but the comment really doesn't resonate because no one on the beach knows a goddamn thing about why they're there. It's all conjecture anyway. Sure, there is a comment about Big Pharma, but it's heavy-handed. There is a twist to be found here. Shyamalan's curtain pulling in the last act occurs after every possible scenario is lightly explored on the beach. There are some really effective moments of panic, mystery, and suspense. There are also quite a few gnarly effects sequences, giving the rapid aging of some of the cast. There's an extremely effective sequence with Abby Lee, who plays a vapid young wife of a much older doctor, played by Rufus Sewell. It's good to see him, by the way. That stole the show for me and seals it that Lee is one of the coolest and most alien-like actresses we have out there for the oddball roles she chooses. The rest of the cast is really solid. They do their best with what they have. The problem is that this isn't a mystery that can be solved with anything within the character's reach. Shyamalan simply hides some of the cards instead of cleverly doing sleight of hand. This is what makes The Sixth Sense such a fantastic movie and The Happening such a disappointment. In one, the answers were there all along. In the other, the answers were intentionally overlooked until the exact time we need to move the movie forward. In one, the aha moment is satisfying. In the other, it just pisses you off. Old is going to be the latter for a lot of people, mainly because once you get the answers, they're banal and not really interesting. Themes explored more interestingly in much better films. I've also got to mention the truly disturbing turns this movie takes involving the maturity of kids. It's ballsy, I guess, to have two 6-year-olds have sex, even though they've been aged up to 16 physically because of the beach. But it still left an icky taste in my mouth after watching. Underage sex isn't the only thing that Shyamalan grazes over and then moves on from. There are also hints at racism, classism, and of course the topical Big Pharma debate. But instead of delving deep, another tragedy occurs to distract us from anything depthy. Still, there's a lingering stank throughout the rest of the film because of that creepy-ass tent scene between two children exploring their bodies. Ugh. Just got a pee shiver just thinking about it. Let's move on. While I try to return to the solid acting as a plus for this film, the cast really does work their hardest to keep this film together. I keep having to return back to the very flawed and unsatisfying structure of it all. Everyone is doing their job well. This is a good-looking movie with an extremely talented international cast. The problem lies in the bones of it, the structure of the script and the way the story is told. That's all on Shyamalan, and while his deftly crafted films are the things that put him on the map, attempting to go back and tell those types of stories is not so easy. Shyamalan did this to himself. He talks in interviews how he wants to be looked at as among the greats in cinema, like Hitchcock, Lucas, and Spielberg. He makes cameos in his own movies, but these aren't really cameos. These are really scenes that really zoom in on him as a very crucial character. He really wants to make classic cinema, but I think there's more than a little bit of an ego there that's weighing him down from doing something truly great. I admire him for trying, but as we see with one particular character in Old, without strong bones, the body breaks down, and that's kind of a poetic way of saying the resolution and the story leading up to it is a mess. While Old starts out strong, the journey to the end reminds me more of the way The Village and The Happening ended, and while I liked The Village, anything even remotely reminiscent to The Happening is not good. That'll be it for today. Please chime in down below in the comments and let me know how on the nose or mind-numbingly wrong I am, or you can counter with your own review. So guys, you know how YouTube works. I'd love to be able to dedicate more time to this channel. I'm not monetized yet, so if you want to help me out, remember to hit all the pertinent bells and whistles down below. Want some spooky comics to read? I have 2 new horror comic book trade paperbacks you should look out for. Both Gravetrancers and Pirouette, collecting never-before-published issues, can be found in only the finest of comic book shops. If you're looking for written reviews, you can find them on my website, mlmillerwrites.com. If you really want to show your support, I also have a Patreon page at mlmiller. Look for the link to my Patreon page down below. Thank you so much for your time, and take care.
You're doomed to live the life you're meant to be, stuck inside your reality.